happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to see this one, as we got the very boisterous Democratic representative Jasmine Crockett now taken to the set of The View, saying some very interesting things that may have just crossed the line and got her into some serious trouble in this newest segment. Guys, I'm excited to get into it, so we're gonna hop straight into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Impoundment and other laws that exist.
Do you think that Americans just didn't believe that he would go with that Project 2025? Or what? What was that? I mean, he said, I don't even know what it is. Remember?
Oh, I remember, honey.
Yeah.
I remember there was actually a hearing that we had in oversight, and it was right after he said, oh, I know nothing about that Project 2025.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a witness, and I mentioned that his name was mentioned 312 times.
Yes.
In Project 2025.
Yes.
So I was like, this is interesting.
This right here just shows they still do not get it, folks. They don't understand. They can try to scare folks away from Donald Trump, but it's simply not working. The fear mongering that they're trying to use, the tactics, is played out. It's not work because we voted for the guy, even though you guys were trying to push the 2020 Project 2025 narrative to say that Donald Trump was going to turn into some dictator on day one and do all these heinous and evil things. We haven't seen one done yet. Give it a break.
Been 12 times.
Yes.
In Project 2025.
Yes.
So I was like, this is interesting. He don't know nothing about it, but he's all through it.
And if it's his name, he's riveted to it.
No. And he's relying on the people that absolutely pulled it together.
Like J.D. Vance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I mean, I think that there are those that just said, I want to do something different. Yeah. And so we know that typically when people are feeling it, especially in the economy, they tend to just go the other way.
Why?
The problem is that this wasn't the guy to fix anything. This is the guy that is the king of breaking things, as we can see.
Yeah.
What? I don't know if I could wholeheartedly agree with that point that Donald Trump's the king of breaking things, but when it comes to his administration, the folks he's put in it, especially that Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, he's good at breaking things, uncovering a wasteful, fraudulent spending within our federal government and taking that big old Doge hammer and breaking things up. That's what we need, if that's what she means.
Elon Musk and Doge, the team, have been infiltrating and dismantling federal agencies. He says he's rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, all while gaining access to some of our most sensitive data. So you sit on the Doge subcommittee run by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Are you getting any more clarity on what exactly Elon and Doge are doing?
She can't even get the question out. Listen, interestingly enough, there was a court filing that came out, or there was the order that came out from Judge Chuckin yesterday, right?
Oh, no.
And one of the things that the White House and the DOJ is currently saying is that, Elon has no power. Yeah. Elon isn't doing that.
He's not an employee, and he doesn't head the agency.
Right.
He's tech support, I think is what they say.
So who's lying is my question. But somebody lying, right? Because they've been like, Elon is cleaning it up, right? So someone's not telling the truth.
Well, first of all, that judge just came out on that ruling that Tanya Chutkan is the same judge that came after Donald Trump once with political persecution. So anything she says, in my opinion, is null and void. Elon Musk has already been said once by our lovely White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, that Elon is a special employee tasked by Donald Trump to carry out, to do what he needs. Wherever he is needed, he's kind of like a universal tool. Wherever he's needed, his services are rendered. That's where he goes. And for him to be completely in charge, it's not the case. He's not completely in charge of anything. He's just tasked to lead the Department of Government Efficiency right now. May change in the future.
As they've been like, Elon is cleaning it up, right? So someone's not telling the truth. And I hope that the lawyers are the ones that are telling the truth, because there is a higher standard when it comes to practicing law. This is why Donald Trump's lawyers tend to lose their law licenses. Yeah. But
here we go.
I don't really know what's going on, and that is why the attorney generals really had a hard time meeting that burden for TRO is because we can't say exactly what he's doing. But the problem is we've never in this country, at least in my lifetime and in most other people's lifetimes, experienced someone who is so ingrained. And so we're going to have to start talking to some of these people that are getting fired. And we're going to have to find out from them, who is it that told you that you were experiencing your last day at work? Talk to us about these little...
The crazy part is no one that voted for Trump is confused or trying to figure out what's going on. We are exactly what was promised out there on the campaign trail as what we're seeing coming to fruition now with Donald Trump now in office. Only folks that are confused are trying to figure out what's going on. These lunatics on the left that have that blatant Trump derangement syndrome, the blinders won't let them see what's being carried out, the wonderful work that's being done across our nation right now. It's crazy.
That you were experiencing your last day at work. Talk to us about these little teenagers running around. Was it one of them?
Well, they're doing it through OPM. Because I have friends that work there and they got the notice and they got it from the Office of Personnel Management. And so, but Doge told OPM to do it.
Right, and that's what we've got to get to the heart of.
I could testify to that. I know all about that. But let me ask you this, Congresswoman. We're also seeing mass firings of federal workers across agencies like the Department of Education, the VA, the CDC, the FAA, even the USDA. In some cases, they've had to unfire critical employees like our nuclear safety specialists, but they didn't have their government email addresses active anymore, so they can't find them. So now on what grounds are, I know you can't make it up, it's like I'm writing a movie. On what grounds are they laying, a very bad movie, on what grounds are they laying off the...
More of that fear mongering, guys, and I'm telling you, they don't get it. It's not working. That's not resonating with their viewership anymore. Folks are not scared of Donald Trump. They've done the research. There's enough news outlets that are covering him. Independent journalists like myself that are out here just bringing the truth about Donald Trump. Too much. It's almost overwhelming with this information out there, what Donald Trump is doing, his administration's goals. You can't lie to folks anymore. I'm just saying that right now.
What grounds are they laying, a very bad movie, on what grounds are they laying off these workers, and how will the scale of this impact everyday workers who are concerned about the price of their eggs?
And nuclear arsenals.
Price of their eggs.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I don't really know what authority they have to do anything. I walked in and I didn't get to read the entire article, but earlier today, it seems like there is someone who was fired that was the head of an agency, and a judge ruled that firing was illegal. People seem to be surprised that the first felon that we ever elected to the White House commits crimes, but, or breaks the law. Breaks the law.
And they couldn't wait to try to run on that point. They ought to give that one up to people I've already seen. This is, the transparent administration. Donald Trump's been crying out this entire time. They've got my leg. They're trying to pull me down. Finally, the folks look down and they see these Dems, these loonies on the left, these rogue agents coming after Donald Trump with the witch hunts, trying to pull his leg down in that last election. Did not work. Stop with the convicted felon thing. The only thing that came out of that case with that corrupt Judge Juan Merchan was the felony sentence, or, the labeling of Donald Trump as a convicted felon. But other than that, he got sentenced to have a great day, sentenced to have a wonderful time in the White House. Doesn't make sense to me.
The White House commits crimes, but, or breaks the law. Breaks the law. But clearly, he has no respect for the law whatsoever. And so, for the most part, it seems like they've been going after probationary people because probationary employees do not enjoy the same protections.
They lack some protections.
Exactly. And so, it'll be interesting to see where the unions go with some of these lawsuits and how successful they are. But again, ultimately, I think that he's trying to get to his favorite court. The court that we know we all love to hate. The highest court. I think he's trying to get there and hoping to get some cover for all the nonsense. After all, this is the same court that gave him immunity.
That is
so that he could go out and do some of the illegal.
And they gave him immunity because you guys were coming at him with such blatant witch hunts, you know what I mean? These charade cases, everyone could see straight through it. There was no surprise that he was, granted that blanketed immunity in these cases because you guys were trying to literally jail this guy for running for re-election. Doesn't make sense to me why they don't get this.
Gave him immunity.
That is
so that he could go out and do some of the illegal things that he's doing.
Do you think they have a limit, though, the court?
You know what? I keep trying to point people to the TikTok decision. Not necessarily because of the subject matter, but more so because basically they said, no, this was signed into law, and in a 9-0 decision, they would not allow him to unilaterally overturn it. So we will see how well they hold up, but we know that this administration keeps threatening judges. If a judge hands down a decision that they don't like, they talk about impeaching that judge and getting rid of that judge, and they won't be able to get rid of these judges because the standard is too high. But he may...
They love to flip the narrative and flip the script. The only reason why these folks are getting came after, or Donald Trump's administrators are coming after, I'll put that in air quotes because no one's being, targeted in this whole situation. They're making themselves, they're putting that target on their back and they're saying, hey, pick me, please. I want to get in the way and stop the process, what your administration is doing. Please come throw the shackles on me, arrest me because I want to stop what you guys have got going on. I mean, come on. It's not Donald Trump. It's them all the way.
Getting rid of that judge, and they won't be able to get rid of these judges because the standard is too high. But he may end up telling some of those Supreme Court justices that are his, it's time for you to go. And they potentially will leave because he did that last time.
Well, I want to ask you about Democrats. You're obviously leading next generation voice in the Democratic Party. And while Trump is moving at this breakneck pace, it feels like signing all these EOs, doing these long-ranging press conferences in the Oval Office, Democrats seem to not be getting their footing on what the message and strategy is to push back. We think of the leaders chanting, we will win outside of Treasury, which was widely panned. You've talked about Democrats needing a branding overhaul. Are you satisfied with the approach so far? And what do they need to do to kind of get their mojo back?
You know what? I think that just like the rest of the world, we've got a bit of whiplash because for some people, even those that voted for him, they said, well, we've been here before and we didn't fall apart the last time he was here, so we won't fall apart this time. And so I think that while we had the playbook right there for us, Project 2025, I still think that even some Democrats were like, oh, well, he's just going to do what he did last time. And he's not. World leaders are recognizing that he's not the same. I mean, he's 10 times worse. And imagine that. This is the guy that oversaw how many deaths during COVID, right? And now we had Ebola breakout. Now we've got measles breakout. Like this is bird.
They blame everything on Donald Trump. It's actually insane. And I refuse to let this Democratic representative sit here and speak for all of those who voted for Donald Trump, saying that we're not getting what we voted for. We didn't vote for that same Donald Trump that we had, his last term. Guess what? Donald Trump this time, he's wisened up. He's not allowing these rhinos to take over his administration. He's got his administration total grip, firm grasp, and guess what? They are on a mission to clean things up. I don't know what this lady's talking about. Donald Trump and trying to blame him for COVID is nuts.
And now we had Ebola breakout. Now we've got measles breakout. Like this is bird flu because they were some of the other people that got fired.
The USDA firings.
And he's like, oh, well, wait a minute. Like this is just literally not even partisanship, in my opinion, at this point. This is incompetence. And I think that...
Yo, there we have it, guys. And I'm going to stop right there because that Democratic representative, Jasmine Crockett, just simplified, explained this whole thing with one word. And that is utter and total incompetence that we're seeing on the set of ABC's The View, with herself included. I mean, what else? What other type of reasoning could we make for why they just simply do not get it? This is what our nation voted for. They could keep trying to blame and throw everything on Donald Trump and say this is such a bad thing we're seeing. You guys should be scared for your future, your kids' future. He's going to, end democracy as we know it. That all went out the window on November 5th. You guys set that entire campaign season with Kamala Harris coming down the runway, or falling down the runway, I should say. And it didn't work. We've seen the turnout of the election. I wish they would give this narrative up. But once again, it shows that they just do not get it. And come 2028, they'll lose again in landslide fashion. Guys, but definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one. We